Hi, my name is Justin.
My name is Jacob.
My name is Rudy.
So, what does the average week of a student look like? If you are a student, you most likely go to several classes throughout the week. You might participate in clubs. You might possibly party on the weekend with your free time. What if, in addition to being a student, you had to practice a sport every day and regularly compete for your university in front of hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people, often with little to no financial compensation? Welcome to the life of a student athlete. Being a student athlete can literally be a full-time commitment, according to Peter Jacobs of Business Insider, who stated that college student athletes may spend up to 40 hours a week practicing, similar to a full-time job. The revenue that is helped generated by these athletes is astronomical, as Division I universities make close to $200 million per year solely off of collegiate sports, according to USA Today. So the question then arises, should college athletes be paid or not? The three of us, we've done extensive research regarding student athleticism and college sports. In addition to the research we've done, we are students ourselves at Rutgers, a large Division I university with many student athletes. What makes this topic so relevant is that most of our listeners are students themselves at Rutgers, where our athletic program has a huge influence on the dynamic of our campus. In addition, a few of our listeners may also be athletes themselves here at Rutgers. With that being said, here's a preview of our main points.
I think that student athletes should be paid because primarily student athletes, multi-billion-dollar business, and yet they are the only components of this business that don't get paid. In addition to that, good athletes would definitely stay in school longer if they were being paid while they were in school.
I think student athletes should not be paid. Paying student athletes would be costly for the college itself, and also the sport itself would not benefit student athletes being paid.
Me personally, I will be arguing for both sides throughout the debate.
Okay, so first and foremost, like I previously stated, student athletes are part of a multi-billion-dollar business, and they're the only ones that don't get paid. The athletes are the main component of this business. Without them working hard every day, no one would make money. The NCAA collegiate Division I sports are a multi-billion-dollar industry that rakes in significant revenue every year. According to Jesse Lawrence, CEO at Ticket IQ, the entry-level tickets to the 2015 NCAA Final Four games costed an average of $551 per ticket alone. This is just a small example of the magnitude of money that the NCAA is dealing with. And this is not to mention the $10.8 billion CBS pays for media rights and countless other sources of revenue, according to the NCAA. With all this money, one can only wonder where is this money going to as a nonprofit organization, because the NCAA is indeed a nonprofit organization. The NCAA makes a surplus of money every year, but they still somehow don't pay the athletes in an industry that is so heavily reliant on athletes and has way more than enough money to pay them. It only makes sense that they should be paid. Despite the surplus of money the NCAA has, they are the only ones that don't get paid. Every other person in the business gets paid. And we know the NCAA has the money to pay athletes because literally everyone else involved gets paid. The coaches, the trainers, the owners, etc. According to Steve Berkowitz, head coach Jim Harbaugh of the University of Michigan will make over $9 million for coaching in 2016. If the coaches get paid, then the athletes most certainly should too. Because at the end of the day, people pay to watch the athletes, not the coaches. People pay to wear the athletes' jerseys, not the coaches. And yet the coaches get paid. So should the athletes.
My response to that argument is, first of all, the college has a lot of money, and the school are paying by letting them get an opportunity of a lifetime because everyone can't afford to get into college. Let's talk about our school, for example. According to Mark Killingsworth from NJ Advanced Media, Rutgers over the last 12 years, the school athletic program has lost $312 million. That means over the past 12 years, the school has lost $26 million a year. We are a Division I football program. Also mentioned that money had to be taken out of the academics to help pay for that athletic department. The money we give our school is getting wasted by athletics. Most student athletes have scholarship money, while normal students like myself have to pay for our education, while athletes don't have, does not. My second counter argument is if you look at the $9 million he is making, it's chump change. The university makes more off its students and events paying, and it goes into paying our coaches. According to USA Today, $1.64 million is the average what college football coaches make. Yes, it's true that John Harbaugh makes $9 million, but 35 college coaches make over $3 million. Truthfully, it's just the market for a good coach is very thin nowadays. Coaches make the school. Last year, they weren't even ranked. Now they are top 3 ranked school and looking to go into the college football playoff. If you pay for a better coach, you get better recruits and maybe have a better season. Some recruits, meaning student athletes, will have a better chance to be on national television, which creates professional scouts to look at them. Plus, that university is a stately fund university, so the school gets money from the state, which goes to the coaching staff. Now, for my con argument, paying student athletes will prove to be costly. Colleges simply don't have enough money to pay them. We must not forget why they're attending school in the first place. Their role in this is to be a student athlete. So they will always be a student first, no matter what. Student athletes also get to be campus. The student athlete is a public figure. If they travel to different schools, and the universities are responsible for one thing: to provide the student with an educational opportunity so they can change the world. That's the real reason why people go to school. My second point is to give most of the student athletes a full scholarship to pay a sport and get a degree. That's paying for their education right there. And it provides them support going to college. Also, according to Anderson, playing a sport in college is a privilege. It is setting them up with a future of success. This wouldn't be fair for regular students either. Also, colleges like Division III pay the athletes because they don't get opportunity to get a full ride. That's not how college football works in Division III. And then it gives us an experience, and it gives them an experience of a lifetime. Students are not professionals. They are here to learn. The student athletes shouldn't look at their college sport experience simply as a vehicle to higher level education, which the access they have. If you look at it, most of them are getting a free degree because of their athletic ability.
I would like to respond to that argument in favor of paying athletes. Paying athletes would not be too costly since, as Jacob said, college sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. In addition, many college athletes do not actually receive scholarships, so paying them would be beneficial. According to Forbes, Texas A&M made $192 million in revenue in 2015 with $92 million in profit. Our own university, Rutgers alone, made $13.8 million in just ticket sales in 2015, according to a report filed by Rutgers with the NCAA. According to the NCAA, only 2% of high school athletes are awarded athletic scholarships. Even more so, Division III schools do not offer athletic scholarships at all to college athletes. Therefore, paying these athletes would be very beneficial to them. And according to statistics that I stated, universities have more than enough money to pay these college athletes.
To make another point, another great positive effect of paying college athletes would be that they would stay in school longer. One major problem with professional athletes is life after career. Countless NCAA athletes end up not graduating from college because they get offers to play for professional sports teams for millions of dollars, and you really can't blame them. However, this causes major problems with when athletes retire and attempt to get a job and can't. When athletes don't graduate from college, most of them don't actually make a career in professional sports. Therefore, when they retire and don't get signed by a team, they're left with no job and no college education. Therefore, they can't get a job. Students are students before they are athletes, and so they should be staying in school until they get their degree so they can get a job in the future. However, a multi-million-dollar deal to pay for a sports team is simply too enticing. And to make it even worse, according to Edmonds, there's a statistically significant financial gap between athletic scholarships and athletic expenditures. This means that college student athletes are shorted thousands of dollars while attending school. So to make it even worse, they would benefit a lot better from taking these deals because they're not being paid.
I would like to argue against that. Like you said, truthfully, an extremely select few of college athletes actually do go professional. However, the majority of college athletes do graduate with a degree and are able to find a job after college. According to the NCAA, only about 0.3% of NCAA football athletes do get drafted into the NFL. Even more selective is the NBA, where only 0.2% of NCAA basketball athletes get drafted into the NBA. The upside is, according to the NCAA again, the graduation success rate for college athletes in 2015 was 86%, which is the highest it's ever been. This shows that paying athletes would be kind of arbitrary, since most aren't going professional and they would be getting a job with their degrees. Paying them would kind of be a waste of money.
My next argument is fit each sport if the athlete was paid. If student athletes get their way, some sports would have to be cut. We know football is the most popular sport in college. So what comes next? Student athletes lose their sport. Volleyball, lacrosse, those sports are not popular and usually low in attendance compared to football or basketball. According to employees by Eric C., scholarships will be lost, and it could make it difficult for the student to pay. So the school has to strip away sports. As a sports fan, would you want to see your school lose sports? Also, the students that lose their sport, how will they get their tuition paid for? So you can't give doubt to the sports that bring the most revenue. If a school loses a sport, don't you think the players on the team would want to transfer to another school so they can play that sport? And that loses money for the school. Let's not pay the student athlete because it will affect the whole university as a whole. Basically, paying athletes mean the school loses money because nobody is attending them other sporting events. Also, the school gets cuts from the school's getting cut from other sports. Basically, paying athletes mean the school loses money because nobody's attending the other sport events. And then it's not fair for other students because they don't get paid for going to class. Playing a sport is a choice you could be if you want. The student athlete could never get paid. The arguments are just a few that I have. I think it's best that the college athlete play their sports for the love of the game.
In response to that, saying that other sports would be cut is just a simple lie, because if it's in the best interest for the school to keep the sport, then the school is going to keep the sport. And in addition to that, if you don't show profit in sports, then that would be because you're spending your money as a nonprofit. And what other person in the system is paid based on profit? Because otherwise the coaches shouldn't be making money because they don't make any profit either. So you aren't paid based on profit. You're paid based on revenue and the value you provide. Without the players, there is no sport.
So with everything considered, I think both sides had very good arguments. There are many pros and cons to whether or not student athletes should get paid. In favor of paying student athletes are the cornerstone of a multi-billion-dollar industry. Without them, there would be no revenue. There would be nobody to watch during March Madness or college football. Also, elite student athletes would stay in school longer if they were financially compensated. However, on the contrary, paying student athletes would be too costly to universities and therefore not a financially stable move. In addition, each sport would not benefit if student athletes were paid. Regardless of whether student athletes should get paid or not, I think it can be agreed that upon their hard work, they should be compensated with success and security. As fellow students and sport fanatics alike, student athletes deserve all the support they can get come game day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.